Everybody, welcome to Polytech Show. This is Dale, and today we are going to unpack Donald Trump's latest big idea to fix the housing crisis with the 50-year mortgage. Yep, half a century of debt that we have to look forward to. It's being sold as an affordable housing, but when you actually do look at the math, and quite fuzzy math to go along with that, and think about the human lifespan, you realize Trump isn't solving the crisis. He's just stretching it out beyond limitations, and he has bad math, as we're going to be talking about. And the sales pitch is simple, right? It goes something like this. Stretch the mortgage out from 30 years to 50 years, and you'll have a smaller payment. Let's take a deeper look at this. So take a $450,000 home at probably about 6% to 7%, which is the average interest rate for mortgages for 30 years. So if you have a 30-year mortgage, probably equals out to about $2,700 a month. Stretching it out, and please correct me if this makes total sense to you, but it doesn't. 50-year mortgage, we stretch this out to about $2,369 a month. That's about $329 less a month, and that's what Trump calls affordable housing. But the problem is that the savings total becomes the anchor of tomorrow. So over 30 years, you'll pay roughly about $521,000 in interest. Stretch it to 50 years, and that jumps to whopping $971,000. That's almost $500,000 more straight to the bank. So the banks are profiting from this. You're not owning your home. In fact, you'll never own your home. And if you probably pass it on to your kids, they will never own it as well. You're renting it from the lender for the rest of your life. This isn't affordability. It's financial gymnastics in a crazy, wild way to make it affordable, or at least look like it's affordable. And the worst part of this whole thing is built on an assumption that people will live and pay for longer than the system was ever designed to work for. So the lifespan problem and the new fine print, here's something no one in Trump's camp seems to be thinking about. Life expectancy. The average American lives about 76 years. This means millions of buyers signing 50-year loans. Sorry, I keep chuckling as I say this, would still owe the bank money when they're in their 70s and probably right around there. And after they pass away, even their children will have to pay this. So what do the banks do? They protect themselves. They always protect themselves. So expect to see new mortgage life insurance requirements that are going to be costly. Policies that ensure lenders get paid even if you die before the loan is actually finished. What a morbid conversation this is. The primary lenders will always, gosh, couldn't spit that out, will always come ahead with this in costs. And there's an inheritance issue involved with this. When you pass away, 50 years of mortgage doesn't just disappear, right? So your family will actually inherit this debt, not just the house. They'll also face the new stipulations like forced refinancing to keep the property, accelerated payoff clauses, the demand for full payment within months of the death, etc., or bank buyback options allowing the lender to repossess the home at a very lower cost and then resell it to make a profit. In other words, even in death, the loan lives on and profits the banks and the rich. It turns a home, the cornerstone of generation wealth and pride, into an asset you might never fully pass down. It's going to change the whole idea and prospect of owning a home, right? When I bought a home, the first thing I thought about was, I can pass this on to my kids and they're going to be better off than I am. If this 50-year mortgage comes about, the only thing I'll be passing on, or people in the future will be passing on, is the debt itself. So I want to talk a little bit about the Dodd-Frank reality check that I think Trump is not really thinking about at this point, or anybody in his camp is actually thinking about. After the 2008 crash, we got the Dodd-Frank Act to stop dangerous lending practices like this. It was supposed to protect consumers from predatory loans with unrealistic payment timelines and predatory acts. A 50-year mortgage might not technically break Dodd-Frank, but it absolutely breaks the spirit of it in a sense. This whole idea is not about helping homeowners. It's about helping lenders create new generations of interest bearing lifelong customers who are going to work themselves to the bone to try to pay off a mortgage for a house that's never going to be theirs. So, what's the real solution? If we actually care about affordable housing, here's what is known that works. Build more starter homes. Encourage small, efficient houses, not mansions with mortgages that last 2 generations or longer or require a 50-year mortgage. Down payment assistance. This is a key thing. Most people cannot buy a home because they do not have the down payment. So help people climb the first rung, not chain them into a ladder where they're going to slip and fall and not be able to pay their mortgage. I mean, 50-year mortgage is just a crazy. I know I keep saying this because I'm still in shell shock about this. But the other things is things like shared equity and land trusts. Let nonprofits own the land so families can buy the homes. They can cut the prices by up to about 40%. There's no voodoo math required with this. There's no makeup math made to make a 50-year mortgage work. It's proven and it's shown. Smarter loan options as well as another one. Say a 40-year FHA loan can help families in crisis, right? So that's available for them as well. A 50-year loan just guarantees the crisis just continues and continues and continues. I don't want to be on my deathbed worrying about leaving, debt to my children and my loved ones. So the other one is to cut through the red tape. It's easier to approve a 50-year mortgage than to permit a duplex fix on a home that's already owned by a family member or to build on top of that. It's things that we need to look at. It's things that we need to start getting serious about. And I don't think we're really looking at these things. Trump is looking for a really short-term, quick fix to it. That's not going to work. It's really not going to work. So what's the takeaway from this? Trump's 50-year mortgage plan doesn't make homes affordable. It makes debt internally yours and your family. It pushes risks onto families, creates new insurance profits for banks, redefines home ownership. In fact, we're going to remove home ownership. It's going to be home renting and paying the banks. As a 50-year payment plan, you may not live to finish it. And I almost guarantee you, a big majority will not live to finish that. If the goal is stability, we don't need longer loans. We need smarter policies than what we're doing right now. 50-year mortgage is not a smart policy because the math just does not match up. It's just a sell fantasy that's going out. In fact, I got a special guest on today. It's one of the first 50-year mortgage recipients. And I want to introduce you to Skell. There we go. His 50-year mortgage. Thanks for joining, everybody. Sorry, my attempt at a little humor. This is the Polytech Show. I'm Dale. If this episode made a lot of sense to you, made you think twice, helped you find out some information, make sure that you share it. You can also follow me on Spotify. You can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on Substack. And thanks for joining. I appreciate your being here.